CTV News with Kelly Gregg.
Good evening. Hydro-Quebec is warning about a scam where fraudsters have been linked to the Iranian government. A cybersecurity firm found there were texts and emails to Hydro clients claiming they were overpaid and eligible for a refund. A link sent them to a website where they could input personal information. Hydro-Quebec says it never issues refunds in that way and warns scammers are using the utility's logo. A similar scam has targeted clients in British Columbia. A man is in critical condition after being hit by his own car. It happened in Côte-des-Neiges this morning, and police say there was a minor in the vehicle at the time of the incident. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil has the details.
A 54-year-old man was rushed to the hospital after he was struck by and trapped under his own vehicle. Police received a 911 call around 8:30 Friday morning. When officers arrived at the intersection of Darlington and Brighton Avenues in the Côte-des-Neiges neighborhood, they found the man unconscious in the middle of the street.
For unknown reason, he was outside his car and then he got under his car.
He was taken to hospital in critical condition. A minor who was inside the vehicle at the time was not injured, but was also taken to hospital as a precaution. Officers are speaking with witnesses and reviewing surveillance footage. The exact circumstances of the collision are still under investigation. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
The man charged with first-degree murder for a stabbing at a Plateau dépanneur yesterday has a previous murder conviction. 35-year-old Xavier Gelati appeared at the Montreal courthouse today. The body of 55-year-old Chong Woo Kim was found at the Fleur Bleue dépanneur Thursday morning. He was the owner and was declared dead at the scene. Gelati is known to police and served time in prison for stabbing a woman to death in Vancouver in 2012. He's expected back in court on May 4th. 8 youths have been arrested in connection with an assault on a security guard at a convenience store in Repentigny. Video of the incident has been circulated on social media. A security guard can be seen grabbing a teenager, then the man is pushed to the ground. It happened on March 3rd across the street from Horizon High School. Police say there could be a 9th arrest. The charges could range from intimidation and harassment to assault and disturbing the peace. Longueuil police are investigating 2 cases of suspected arson. The first happened around 9 o'clock last night. Reports came in for a house fire on Costello Street in Brossard. Residents were home at the time, but no one was hurt. No arrests have been made. And the second incident was for a vehicle fire. A 911 call came in around 8:30 p.m. for an SUV in flames on Carignan Street. Again, there were no injuries. And 2 vehicles were heavily damaged in another suspected arson, this time in St. Leonard. It happened on Dantibes Street. Police arrived to the scene where they found an SUV and a truck engulfed in flames. Both are considered a total loss. Nearby apartments were evacuated as a precaution. Police say a suspect was seen fleeing the scene. The already expensive gas prices are expected to jump again this weekend. 1 liter could be as high as $1.91. Matt Gilmore has that story.
The sudden jump in gas prices is hitting Montrealers hard. For this cab driver, eating the extra cost of fuel is cutting into his already razor-thin margins. For others, it's just another unwelcome expense.
We're obviously not very happy about the price of gas, and we certainly feel we're held hostage by what's going on with the United States and what's happening with the war.
The war has choked off the world's oil supply. Gas prices are up between 20 and 24 cents a liter since the start of the conflict. Diesel is up almost 50 cents a liter.
Diesel is the global workhorse.
Gas price expert Dan McTagg says the impacts will go far beyond the pump.
All transport forms are going to be looking for more money because they can't absorb these costs.
The Quebec Truck Drivers Association says there are surcharges built into their contracts that allow them to pass along the extra fuel costs.
The impact is obviously for the consumer. The first image that we always have in the grocery bag that goes up. But there is much more involved in the manufacturing sector, in the agricultural sector.
Based on global commodity prices, McTagg is predicting another 10 to 15 cent increase at the pump by Sunday.
whether you drive or not, or whether you drive an EV or not. This is going to affect the cost of everything.
And frustrated drivers are taking it on the chin.
I mean, we got no choice. There's no options, right? So we just have to see what happens, and hopefully this thing ends soon.
As the war intensifies, Donald Trump is trying to spin rising oil prices as a positive for the U.S. Posting on Truth Social, the U.S. is the largest oil producer in the world by far. So when prices go up, the United States makes a lot of money.
It's going to be a little bit painful for a while, and it's just all open-ended, so it's confusing.
Matt Gilmore, CTV News.
For years, the Maisonneuve-Rosemont Hospital has been in bad shape. Now there's increased pressure ahead of the provincial budget to invest in the aging facility. The estimated cost is $300 million. Sweeta Rassi has that story.
It's one of Quebec's largest hospitals, but Hôpital Maisonneuve-Rosemont has been slowly falling apart.
It's a hospital that's nearing its end of functionality.
While work in the parking lot is underway, inside this hospital, nothing is moving. In the past years, there have been several setbacks. That's why this coalition that includes doctors, unions, and patients is demanding clear financial commitments over the next 8 years, starting with $300 million next year so that work can finally start inside.
And what we're doing right now is delaying the Maisonneuve-Rosemont project, generating extra costs.
The hospital's crumbling infrastructure is creating serious problems. Reports of power outages, elevators out of service, and people seeing rodents and bats inside the aging building have been making headlines. The coalition says some doctors have even decided to leave. Vincent Marissal is the MNA for Rosemont.
It's a running gag. It's a national gag. Enough is enough.
Opposition parties gathered in front of the hospital.
So it's time to build this hospital, and it's time to move on.
Every day that we're losing, we're wasting more money.
The coalition is also calling on the next CAQ leader to take a clear position. Both Christine Fréchette and Bernard Trainville say they'll make sure the money is there, with Fréchette on Facebook saying she wants the construction to be a priority. But Quebec Solidaire doesn't buy it.
If she's promising this, how come she did not deliver in the last 3-4 years where she was in the cabinet, where she was directly at the table?
The group is hoping the $300 million needed to kickstart repairs will be included in the upcoming budget, which is set to be tabled on Wednesday. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News.
Mayor Soraya Martinez-Ferrada is headed to South Korea with aims to strengthening economic and cultural ties. The mayor will lead a 50-member delegation on a 5-day visit to Seoul and Busan. The plan is to promote Montreal's expertise in creative technologies. The group will also take the opportunity to explore different solutions to improve services and urban planning using AI. The Laval Rocket in action tonight, looking to solidify their spot on top of the North Division standings. On the road, and it's Utica that opens the scoring first. Philip Machar would tie it up on a shot from the high slot there. That's his 8th of the year. Before the period is out, Laval would take the lead on this very strange play, shorthanded, and the Comets goalie bobbles it. Florian Jacki is there for the easy goal. But this game is not a cakewalk as Utica comes back to score 4 unanswered goals. This one would end 5-2. Laval plays again tomorrow against the Syracuse Crunch. An Olympic medalist is calling for more funding for amateur athletes in Canada. Laurent Dubreuil says he's worried about the next generation of competitors. He says without federal funding, Canada is headed for a disaster in international competition. He suggests Canada follow the lead of other countries, for example, Norway, which has a state lottery which helps fund amateur sports.
In Canada, we haven't really got an increase in funds for over 20 years in high-level sport. But obviously with the amount of money we had 20 years ago and the same amount now with inflation, it's not worth nearly as much. It's probably 30% less. And with 30% less, there's a lot of stuff we can't do anymore. We don't send full teams to World Cups. We cannot pay for every competition. The World Championship we had to pay for ourselves. And we can't really innovate anymore. I think federations are more trying to survive than innovate and perform. And I think it reflects in the medal table. We dropped quite a lot in the last Olympics. And I think as a society, it's just a question to ask ourselves, is sport important or is it not important?
Dubreuil won the bronze in the men's 500 meters speed skating event in Milan last month. There's more of our interview with him on our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca. Coming up, a Montreal cafe with a clear message. It's a big weekend for movies and for fans of 80s rock. Joining us now is Chris Bumbray, managing editor of JoeBlow.com. Chris, thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, Kelly, I'm one of those fans of 80s rock. Big fan.
All right, well, let's start with that. Blast from the Past, Journey playing in Montreal, just like it's 1987 again.
Yes, and it's the last time that Montreal audiences will ever get to see Journey in concert because it's part of their farewell tour, The Final Frontier. So actually, this show was supposed to happen at the Bell Center on Wednesday night. But of course, as everybody in town knows, there was that terrible ice storm and they ended up having to delay it. So it's on tonight at the Bell Center. And you know what? There's still some tickets available. You can get them pretty reasonably. Actually, if you go on Ticketmaster, I think you could sit in the 300s for something like $70. Again, Journey is one of the great pop rock bands of the 1980s. They always put on an amazing show. Were I in town, this would be the place that I would be this evening. Absolutely, 100%.
All right. Well, there's also a special 70mm screening for Project Hail Mary. Let's have a look at that.
We have a doctorate in molecular biology.
And I ride a bike to work. And it's not for exercise.
If we do nothing, everything on this planet will go extinct, including us.
So some people will get this special sneak peek when the movie comes out, before the movie comes out, really.
Yeah, so the movie comes out next week. It's one of the most anticipated movies of the year based on Andy Weir's novel. It's his follow-up to The Martian. And we're getting a 70mm screening at the Scotiabank Theatre. Scotiabank's one of only a handful of theaters in North America that actually has 70mm projectors, which is kind of an old film format that has kind of come back into popularity. So if you want to see this movie early and in a truly unique way, you should check it out at the Scotiabank this weekend. I saw it earlier this week. I had a blast. I thought it was a really fun movie, great for the whole family. Ryan Gosling, top notch. If you like The Martian, you'll definitely like Project Hail Mary.
All right, well, it is also the biggest weekend for movies, the Oscars. Let's have a look at one of the front runners for Best Picture's Sinners.
I've been all over this world. Love you, brother. Be careful. I will.
Now, if you can't make it to the awards ceremony, the second best place to be is at Cinema du Parc's annual watch party Sunday night. And this one sells out fast.
Yes, it does. And it actually starts at 5 o'clock because they do the arrivals as well. It's always such a blast to watch the Oscars at Cinema du Parc because you're seeing it with an audience of film fans that really get into it. They always have hosts, they have competitions, they have giveaways. You know, if you're like me and you put a little bit of money on the Oscars, always an exciting night. I'm kind of torn between what's going to win Best Picture this year, either Sinners or One Battle After Another. So I'm still working on my final predictions. But as you said, a huge event for film fans, and I am certainly one of them.
All right, Chris, well, you mentioned it off the top. You're not in town this weekend because if you were, you'd be at the Bell Center tonight for Journey. But you are at South by Southwest. What's going on there?
No, yeah, I'm at South by Southwest. I actually just saw Steven Spielberg give a chat, and I got my lanyard right here, and a bunch of film screenings that are happening. Ready or Not 2 is getting an early screening here. Mike and Nick and Alice, a Vince Vaughn action movie. All the kind of the fun movies that are coming out over the next few months are getting early screenings. And you could read all about it on JoeBlow.com. Spielberg's talk was really interesting. He actually told us in the talk that he believes that there are aliens among us. So there you go.
Okay, well, we won't speculate on who. We'll save that for next week. Thanks so much, Chris, for joining us, and have a great weekend.
Oh, you too, Kelly. Thank you for having me.
A new cafe opened in Plaza Saint-Hubert today, and it has a decidedly political bent. It's inviting everyone to come in and talk about the future of an independent Quebec. Christine Long was there.
Not an Americano or even a Canadiano, but Le Club Pays serves up a Quebecano. Le Club Pays calls itself a Sovereigntist meeting place. It's an initiative of the United Organizations for Independence, known as We Quebec.
The goal for us is to have a space to discuss the long-term vision for Quebec.
Camille Goyette-Gingras explains it's a citizen-run project.
Being non-partisan is really our DNA. It's so important for us. So it's going to contribute to this vision that the independence project should be led by the citizens and the civil society.
Ideas include decentralizing healthcare.
Ottawa has really a hospital-centered vision, but as in Quebec, we prefer to invest into proximity services with the CLSC.
Goyette-Gingras admits that in the past, political parties led the call for Quebec independence and says this is more grassroots.
The third wave of independentists is now led by the civil society as a non-partisan project.
Yet, are they brewing up old debates? Alex Valiquette says Le Club Pays is a place for conversation and information.
People are going to look at independence in a different way than just being scared and nervous and about being like imposed a referendum and not being informed and just voting no because it's too stressful.
The cafe will also host evening performances and conferences to talk about independence, but not political rallies.
Our goal is not to act on the policy side. That would be the role of the political parties.
Volunteer-run, citizen-funded, Le Club Pays is located at 6900 Saint-Hubert in a building belonging to the Mouvement National des Québécoises et Québécois. Christine Long, CTV News.
The city of Longueuil inaugurated new social housing units today. There are 30 apartments for rent. Those who are eligible will pay 25% of their revenue, with the government covering the rest. This is the first phase of the Roof for All project.
It's been so hard, a lot of work, but finally I'm going to have people living in apartments upstairs in a condition that I would want to live in myself. They have lovely bathrooms, lovely porch, a place to be able to settle down, to have a cup of coffee, and to see what they really want to do and how they want to get back into the community.
The project cost $16 million, and conditional funding for the second phase is in the works. 3D printing could reshape the future of home construction, but experts say it could take years before it becomes common in the building industry. Sanjay Maru has more.
Good. Layer by layer, a robotic printer puts down cement, forming the walls of what could one day be someone's home. This form of construction using 3D printing was the focus of a conference at the University of Windsor Monday, bringing together engineers, researchers, and builders.
There's no accident or injury involved because nobody working there. There's a lot of flexibility in terms of architectural benefit. You can print any shape, anything.
Not to mention, according to proponents, it can build structures faster and at a comparable cost. So with all of those benefits, why isn't this the new standard?
Canada is a little bit slow to adopt, right? So regulatory is the biggest problem.
Lee Newman is the CEO of Artec, the contractor for a 3-story student housing building going up at the University of Windsor. He says one of the biggest barriers to wider adoption is the lack of building codes for 3D printed construction, and he estimates it will take about a decade for governments to catch up.
Part of the benefit we have in Canada, leading the way with this technology is to really put Canada on the map for what can be done following regulatory compliance and code.
But building codes are not the only hurdle. Experts say the way housing is approved and built in Canadian cities can also slow the pace of change. According to the World Bank, Canada ranks second to last out of 35 countries for how long it takes to get approval for construction projects.
Tied to that is a question about the way in which culture changes and the sort of level of acceptance of change of different kinds of builds.
And until that change comes, some researchers say Canada will fall behind other countries where 3D printed housing is already being built at a much larger scale.
We don't use much in Canada, unfortunately, but if you go to US, they're printing the whole community.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
After the break, a stunning estate up for sale.
What's on Montreal? Brought to you by Tanguay, your comfort zone.
This weekend is all about the Oscars, planning your dream home, and a party that celebrates the 80s and 90s. Lace up those roller skates and get ready for a night of throwback hits at the 80s and 90s Roller Rewind. That's Saturday night at La Rink Arena. Hollywood's finest will walk the red carpet at the Oscars on Sunday night. You can join in the fun at the Oscars watch party at Cinéma du Parc or watch it live on CTV starting at 6:30. The National Home Show is in town until Sunday. Find everything you need to renovate and redecorate your dream home. That's at the Palais des Congrès. Or get a head start on St. Paddy's Day celebrations in Rawdon. From Friday until Sunday, enjoy 3 days of festivities, including a parade. For a night of laughs, comedian Derek Seguin will be performing at the Comedy Nest. His final show is late Saturday night. For What's on Montreal, I'm Lauren Fernandez.
For breaking news and local news that matters to you, download the CTV News app right now by scanning the QR code on your screen using your smartphone. Or you can also go to our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca. Weather brought to you by Gratian Scaff. Second pair is a gift event including designer frames. A second pair free for a limited time.
Well, it isn't March in Montreal without this back and forth. We were spoiled with an above seasonal day today, but we're looking at some snow coming in. Checking in with our almanac, we did close in on that expected high sitting at 0 today, but take a look at that record high for this day from 1946. We hit 12.2 degrees, and by the start of next week, we could be closing in on those double-digit numbers. But we have some work to do before we get there, and here's what we're looking at tonight. A low of -1, cloudy skies, along with a 90% chance of this snow continuing, and that is expected to continue as we head into tomorrow morning as well. We have a wake-up temperature sitting at 0. We're seeing the snow shifting over to periods of snow as we move to later in the day, and for our high we have +2 on the board. But let's take a look at our futurecast, where again we see this snow. It's moving over from the west, as it often does, and it starts to become a bit more scattered by about 7 in the morning. So keep that in mind if you're headed out. If you're going out in the afternoon, it should be looking a little bit better. We're seeing the snow clearing out by 7 p.m. in the evening, and after that we should be set up to have a sunny start to our Sunday. But here's what we have coming temperature-wise for Sunday. We're looking at a high of -1. We're also looking at another additional 1 centimeter of snow coming in by Sunday afternoon. If you like the snow, enjoy all of that, because by Monday it could melt. We have a pretty heavy day of rain coming in with up to 14 millimeters expected, along with that double-digit high that I mentioned at +11. Now, toward the middle of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday, that's when we really start to see some sunshine coming in. Particularly on Wednesday, we're looking at a mostly sunny day, along with a high of -2. Even more precipitation to come Thursday, and that could take the form of either snow or rain, depending on shifting temperatures. We're looking at a high of +3 and a low sitting at -1.
Chateau Montebello is officially on the market. The resort is deep in debt and is now up for sale. Dave Charbonneau reports.
Once considered one of the world's legendary hotels, the Chateau Montebello is now mired in tens of millions of dollars in debt.
Really a fabulous little winter getaway. We did curling this morning.
And the 100-year-old resort is officially for sale after the previous owner, a Chinese-based company, was forced to liquidate its assets.
I hope whatever happens, they keep operating it the way they operate it now. I hope, I mean, the property can change hands, and if it's still operated as a Fairmont hotel, I mean, we may not even be able to tell as guests.
This property, located between Montreal and Ottawa, is a full-scale resort. It includes 210 guest rooms, a golf course, a marina, and yacht club. For the nearby town, this hotel is a business lifeline.
For us, we're kind of alive because of all the tourism that get generated by the Montebello Chateau. Pretty much 75% of our customers come from there.
The court-appointed receiver is now managing the sale. No minimum price has been set.
Sometimes properties need to change in order to survive, but I'm sure whoever purchases a property like this will preserve what makes it special.
Probably for the best, because there's gonna need new things and it needed a lot of renovation.
The hotel remains open with management by Fairmont Hotels.
For us, we see tourists and we know it's full.
The running of the hotel is still the same. The service is the same. Fairmont is taking care of their people. So it's the shell that's having problem, but the inside and the running of the business is as if nothing else happened.
The final sale is targeted for late July. Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Well, that wraps it up for us tonight. For latest news, you can listen to the Joanne Vracas Show tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on CJD 800. And of course, you can always head to ctvnewsmontreal.ca for more coverage. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great evening and take care of each other.